My name is Kwabna Chenche Heneboti. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today to our very first story. The Tsar and a policeman has been killed on board a commercial bus at Kwame Danso in the Sene district of the Bonoafo region. This happened during an armed robbery attack on the Kumasi-Sunyani highway with 2 passengers also badly injured. The 2 are currently being treated at the Kwame Danso Government Hospital. The police have meanwhile begun investigations into this rather sad incident. But let's first get an account of the robbery from Daniel Edujemfi, who is a local reporter with Sene FM. Right, so we do not have him yet. Let's now try and speak to Joseph Achu Jikenu, who is a police officer in the region. He's also joining us on phone now with some more on this rather disturbing development. Mr. Jikenu, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today, sir. Okay, we do not have him also on the line. We'll try and raise both of them on the line. Once we have them, we'll return to that story and bring you more on that. But away from that now, and pupils of Adam Train Methodist Basic School in the Gomorrah district of the Central Region have been forced to sit on the floor during lesson periods due to the absence of desks. The school, built by the government in 1952 to serve the two communities, Adam community and the Train community, is faced with serious logistic challenges. There are no desks for the pupils. The building has serious cracks on it, and teachers have to sit under a tree, serving as their staff common room. Austin Bracco Powers of My John Online has more.
Adam Train Methodist Basic is the best performing school in the Gomorrah West district of the Central Region. Yet, the conditions under which the pupils study are awful. For the past 4 years, the structures of the school have been deteriorating, and it seems authorities have turned a blind eye to it. Several complaints from residents have also fallen on deaf ears. Nana Esichua is the queen mother of the area.
Yes, school no. Be daycare one. Ano che community ne akasa. Yesi dem daycare no.
It used to be a workshop. Then we turned it into a school. The conditions are very bad, I know. We've sent lots of complaints, but nothing has been done. It really saddens me that after every effort, nothing has still been done. The children are forced to study on bare floors because the desks in the classes are woefully inadequate. And this is a daily ritual. The nursery staff common room uses a dirty aluminium makeshift. And as if this is not enough, the teachers for the primary session have to sit under the tree because there's no staff common room for them. That is where they use as their office. District Education Director Peter Bright Amanka refused to talk to Joy News as he accused our team of soliciting false information about the school.
It is this man, no man, wrong information. A friend who
Okay, so you, when we get to Accra, you hear from us. I'm not taking this
Okay, we have a lot more stories on education we're bringing to you in a short while, but let's return to that story from the Bonoafo region where a policeman has been killed on board a commercial bus at Kwame Danso in the Sene district of that region. We are told that it happened during an armed robbery attack on the Kumasi-Sunyani highway with 2 passengers also badly injured. The 2, we are told now, are currently being treated at the Kwame Danso Government Hospital. The police have meanwhile begun investigations into the said incident. But let's try now and get an update, an account of this very issue from Superintendent Joseph Achu Jikenu of the Telugu District Police. Mr. Jikenu, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us, sir. Okay, so we have once more lost the police on the line there. We can move on and do some other stories. Now, and analysis of the 2015 Basic Education Certificate exams by the Education Ministry shows that the first 10 schools that excelled in last year's exams were from deprived areas. Deputy Minister for Education Samuel Okujeto-Blakwa says these results should disabuse the notion that deprived schools are worst performing schools.
It will interest you to know that in the just concluded BEC analysis for the 2015 performance, there was no Greater Accra district or municipality or metropolitan in the top 10. Not one. The best performing district is Seshia Kontombra, and we have classified it here as a deprived district. Number 2 was Obuasi Municipal. Number 3, Nkranza North, also classified here as a deprived district. Number 4, Adanse North. Number 5, Amansia West. Number 6, Seshi Joaboso. Very deprived. I went there to support my friend during his parliamentary candidature. Number 7, Asante Akim North. Number 8, Echima Kwanyoma. Number 9, Wasa Menfi West. Very deprived districts. Number 10, Upper Denchira West. Again, our classification here at the ministry is that these are deprived districts. These are your top 10 performing districts, the BEC analysis we just concluded. The closest a Greater Accra district came to Ga West, 12th. Ga Central, where we are, 17th, with moving pick and all the great facilities and all of that. 17th. So, and Ga South, 20th. So this tells us something, that we need to pay critical attention to certain popular notions, and the claims that, deprived districts because of probably lack of amenities and all of that, lack of ability to attract trained teachers and professional teachers, they have a high pupil-teacher number and all of that, would necessarily lag behind. And we have asked that this analysis be done over the last 10 years, and we'll do another 20 years to compare. And it is following this trend. So it is clear to us that, yes, decentralization is critical, but you can pass the law, and we know in this country we are not bereft of laws.
Let's talk politics now, and we can talk about the NPP, because we do know that the opposing New Patriotic Party has vowed to declare its own results in the November polls. Campaign chairman of the party, Peter McMenu, says the party is determined and will not allow anybody to stop them from declaring the winner of the 2016 polls. The decision, according to him, has been informed by the party's experience in the 2012 general elections. Speaking over the weekend at Takoradi, Mr. McMenu added that the party is also working on its manifesto ahead of the general elections in November, though it does not plan on releasing it anytime soon. Mr. McMenu says the party will only outdoor its manifesto when the country enters the campaign season in order to prevent the NDC from plagiarizing the document like it did in 2012.
The elections, MPP could also declare our own results. That one, the IGP can never stop it. Whether you are electoral commission, whether you are a police or security officer, whether you are a police agent, whether you are a chief, you cannot stop MPP from 2008, we came up with the SHS. Then they turned the entire elections on the SHS as something not doable, and that we are wasting the time of Ghanaians. We cannot sit down and repeat that same thing in 2016. That's why I keep saying that every election is different from the previous election. This election is a referendum on the NDC. We have inaugurated our sector committees. Why are they inaugurated for? They are coming out with our policies. But you can't tell us the time we should bring our policy. You cannot. Now the good people of Ghana are saying, for the 8 years, tell us what you have done with the oil money. Tell us what we have done with the agricultural sector. Tell us what we have done with electricity and electricity bills. That is what is on the table now.
Meanwhile, the MPP's Member of Parliament for Bantama, Henry Kwabena Kokofu, has disputed the claims, suggesting the comments of the MPP's campaign manager have been taken out of context. Speaking earlier on the AM show, Kwabena Kokofu said the party is rather focused on doing all it can to ensure the NDC does not rig the general elections.
And indeed, these things are not going to happen to New Patriotic Party alone. We expect that all other political parties, including the ruling NDC, will have their own parallel way of collating the results, so we can all compare and contrast. Where there is a difference, then we draw the attention of the EC. Basically, this is a harmless within the confines of the law. We will set up our parallel collation table, or if you like, apparatus, to track the results from the polling station down to the collation center, up to the regional collation center. We have two collation centers. We will have the constituency collation center, and we will have the regional collation center before it gets to the national, for the EC to do the declaration.
Majority Leader in Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says President John Dramani Mahama has never felt slighted by his public criticism of his governance style. He says the president took the criticism with extreme humility. Mr. Bagbin had called the president's administration disappointing, described him as a naked president, and accused him of losing touch with the ordinary Ghanaian. These comments were made after Mr. Bagbin was relieved of his ministerial appointment in 2013. But Mr. Bagbin, at the inauguration of the Youth Working Committee of the party in the Nadoli Kalio constituency, says the president took the criticism in good faith. Rafiq Salam has more in the following report.
Majority Leader in Parliament, Alban Summana Kinsport Bagbin, did not mince words about the chances of the National Democratic Congress in the November 2016 polls. He stated that Ghanaians will retain President Mahama due to three reasons: his selflessness, temperament, and humility. Alban Bagbin cited instances where people, including him, openly criticized his style of leadership for him to change for the betterment of the party, which never slighted him.
I was among the first voices to raise alarm bells about the need for His Excellency to review some things and move in the right direction, which he, with extreme humility, complied with and made sure that things were properly put in place. And in doing that, I saw the humility in the gentleman. He did not in any way try to show that he had the full power of the nation at his disposal. It's not a matter of going somewhere and assisting people to pound for food to eat. No. It's your everyday life, your everyday relationship with the ordinary citizen of your community. That is what let people read in you as a man of the people.
Alban Bagbin, who is also the member of parliament for the Nadolo constituency, assured members of the Youth Working Committee of his unalloyed support, adding he would do everything to empower them to win more votes in the constituency than ever before.
We don't want any party or any candidate to ever dream of contesting in the sense of even having a scintilla of hope of beating us in any election. We want to make it crystal clear to all that this is a constituency that is unbeatable. And so those who are in the fantasy world, the dreamland, those of them who are chasing mirages, please advise yourselves.
National Youth Organizer of the party, Sidi Abubakar, urged members of the party to put the parliamentary primaries behind them and forge ahead for the victory of the party.
If you people say you won't vote for him, after the entire national will storm this place. We are seeing leaders winning this constituency more or less like a presidential election in Nadoli. And so, don't sit down and think that you are fighting leader.
Democratic Congress.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Nadoli.
To some more stories now, and the Office of the President has been sued through the Microfinance and Small Loan Center for introducing tricycles known as Mahama Kambu for commercial purposes in some communities across the country. The suit was filed by the NGO Road Safety Advocates Ghana, who say the use of tricycles for commercial purposes is illegal. More than 100 people have died in the last few months after its introduction. Road Safety Advocates Ghana is seeking perpetual injunction to restrain motorcycle, tricycle and other riders from carrying fare-paying passengers at any time. Let's get on to the phone lines now and speak to Nana Ano Ami here. He's with the Road Safety team and he's joining us on phone with some thoughts on this. So, Samir, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. So, the first question I want to ask is why really you seek to sue the Office of the President?
Well, good afternoon to your viewers. Now, we are suing Maslock because Maslock is an agency under the watch of the President, and they are the agency that is distributing the tricycles and the Mahama Kambu in contravention of the law prohibiting the usage of the tricycles for commercial transport.
These tricycles you speak of, when they were being given out or they were being given to these beneficiaries, were they being, was it under the pretext that indeed they are going to be used for commercial purposes, or it was after they were given out that they were then converted to commercial vehicles?
No, it was purposely given to the youth to alleviate poverty in the Green Book of Achievements of President Mahama. That I can't actually quote the specific page, but if you go through the Green Book of Achievement, you'll find that it's been stated categorically that government through Maslock has distributed these tricycles, nicknamed Mahama Kambu, to the people in the northern region to alleviate poverty, and by using them as taxis to alleviate poverty. So it's clearly in black and white, written out there in the Green Book of Achievements of President Mahama.
So essentially, what are you seeking to achieve?
What am I seeking to achieve is a law. We are a country governed by law. And the reason why we are doing this is that, you know, there's a tripartite committee set up by DVLA, National Road Safety Commission, and MTTD, which I'm a member. In fact, as we speak, I'm in putting finishing touches as to whether to amend the law to pave way for the usage of the tricycles and the Mahama Kambu. But as a country that is governed by rule of law, we should wait for the committee to present its report to government and for government to look at it and amend the law before these tricycles and Mahama Kambu are distributed. We're not against the Mahama Kambu per se, but we are kicking against it because it contravenes the law as the law states right now as we speak. It's against the law to use Mahama Kambu or the tricycles for commercial transport. Basically, that's our beef.
Again, the impression we get from your read seems to suggest that you're also against it because it's unsafe for use. On what basis do you draw that conclusion exactly, sir?
Say that again.
I'm saying the impression we gather suggests that you're also against it because it's unsafe for you. It's unsafe for use. But what I want to find out is on what basis you draw such a conclusion.
No, it's unsafe for use. That's why the committee that has been set up is because the existing law prohibits the usage of the tricycles for commercial transport. So there must be some reasons why the existing law prohibits them.
Right.
So we have been charged to and then make recommendations for it either to be used for commercial transport or not. So
finally, before you go, sir, I just want to find out from you when you're due in court.
Well, we just filed the case. Okay. Our lawyers just filed it today. And we're waiting for the processes to kick in. And then they'll give us a court date and we'll go to court.
Okay, right. Nana Ano Amir, many thanks for your time on News Today this afternoon. And Nana Ano Amir is with the Road Safety Advocacy Center Ghana. It's an NGO that has actually sued Maslok for distributing tricycles for commercial use. We'll follow that and bring you a lot more in subsequent bulletins. But away from that now, and the Chief Executive Officer of PhotoX is calling the bluff of the Attorney General to pursue money said to have been overpaid to the printing company. The Attorney General is recommending the company refunds monies that were overpaid to it in its first contract with the DVLA. In the Attorney General's initial report on the DVLA PhotoX contract, it indicated that PhotoX had been overpaid by some 15 million cedis. It also added that there was wrongful collection of monies as reimbursement for consumables, which had already been factored in the contract sum of $2.7 million. But speaking on the Super Morning Show earlier today, Chief Executive Officer of the DVLA, Dr. Ian Klovicher, insists the directive by the AG is not feasible, seeing that investments made by companies need to yield profit.
I'm as baffled as you are because the business model which PhotoX engaged in with the DVLA was one of which PhotoX was to make all the investments. Therefore, the contract sums that are mentioned in either contract are actually PhotoX's investment. And because of this investment, PhotoX was supposed to be paid 80% of revenue that is generated from the sale of driver's licenses. This is very important. PhotoX in neither contract was supposed to be paid any money from government chest. Actually, it is according to the contract, it is actually PhotoX that was to pay 20% of revenue that is generated from the sale of driving licenses to the driving public, to the DVLA. So the contract was supposed to last for a period of 6 years, and this arrangement was to carry on for a period of 6 years. I don't think any sensible business entity would invest an amount of money into a project, execute that project for a period of 6 years, and accept the same money that it invested in the beginning. I've heard them say that PhotoX's investment included profits. I mean, this is ridiculous. How are you able to invest your profits in a project?
Now, members of parliament are pushing for a national policy on water transportation in a bid to, among others, reduce the number of deaths from boat accidents. Their call comes following revelations that 21 people died on the May 29 boat accidents on the Volta Lake. The MPs have also blamed the Maritime Authority for failing to regulate the sector. Let's get on to the lines now and speak to parliamentary correspondent Elton Brobe for a lot more on this. So, Elton, what occasioned this call by the MPs?
Well, the Member of Parliament for the area, Dr. Kobanoko, read a statement on the disaster that, according to him, claimed 21 lives. And in his own analysis of the situation, the absence of a national policy on water transportation could be blamed for the fact that people are not going by laid down regulations. For him, the Maritime Authority that is charged with the responsibility to ensure order on the Volta Lake is also not doing their work well. That's how come the issue of overloading, people not wearing the life jacket, remains an issue on the Volta Lake. Now, going forward, he suggested that the Volta Transport Authority, which has exclusive rights for the transportation of persons on the Volta Lake, should be taken away from there and allow more private sector people to come on with boats that are acceptably to travel on the Volta Lake. And also, he's also suggesting that there should be third-party insurance for boat owners so that in the event of an accident, the passengers can be compensated. These were the issues that he put forward, but members of Parliament supported his recommendations and asked that the issue of a national policy be formulated by the Transport Ministry should be a topmost priority. Indeed, the Transport Minister was in the House when this statement was read, and his response was that they've started a program to remove tree stumps on the Volta Lake. The issue of life jacket for passengers is something that the Maritime Authority is providing for free, but people simply are not wearing them. So attitudinal change, according to him, should be a matter that should be considered in going forward. But government is looking at removing tree stumps that has been identified one of the main causes of the accidents on the Volta Lake.
Elton, you also understand Deputy Power Minister John Jinapor has been briefing the House.
Now time for your business, and expect an improvement in current power situation from next month. That's the assurance from the Director of Generation and Transmission at the Power Ministry, Engineer William Samapia. The recent shutdown of the Jubilee FPSO vessel triggered frequent power cuts, especially in the capital, with many describing it as a gradual return to the days of load shedding. Engineer Pia attributed two challenges with generation.
Akosombo is one plant that can generate up to 1,020 megawatts. Today we are doing barely 400 because the water level has gone down the reservoir. We are also having challenges with fuel. The fuel that we are getting in the west, we use gas from the Jubilee field, and in the east, that's Tema, we use gas from Nigeria. Unfortunately, we've had instances where the Jubilee field, they had to do some maintenance on the equipment and gas went away. So which means power generation in the west was affected. Today, we have barely 10 million scarf per day. Our contract with Nigeria is 123. We are getting barely 10. And for that reason, we have capacity sitting in Tema, which is not running because there is not enough fuel to run. And that is the reason why today, if we are talking about the demand is about 2,200. Unfortunately, we are barely able to generate about 1,900. So that deficit is what is seen in certain areas during the night, where some areas have to go off just because there is this gap between what we can generate and what the demand is. Today, we have people working on the fuel situation. The biggest challenge is fuel. In Ghana today, we are using 3 types of oil, let's say 4, either light crude oil, gas, heavy fuel oil, or diesel. Unfortunately, with gas, we are having the challenges I mentioned earlier. And with LCO, it's a question of funding, where we have to get enough funding to buy the fuel, which we are always trying to do. When the fuel situation is resolved, then we can be certain that this outage thing will go.
That will be when? When are you looking at?
Right now, within the Jubilee field, Jubilee should be able to give us up to about 100 million scarf of gas per day. Currently, they are doing about 50. If Jubilee is able to do that, then we are also doing maintenance in Abuaze. Right now, about 300 megawatts of power in Abuaze is down because of mandatory maintenance. We are expecting that by the end of June, these plants will come up. When these plants are up, and then we have the gas from the Jubilee fields, clearly that takes away the current deficit.
And finally, government could in the coming weeks face some funding challenges which might affect its ability to meet its financial obligations. This is because it's currently racing against time to meet its half-year budget target, raising some 30 billion Ghana cedis from banks and investors. George Rafi has more in this report.
According to government's own securities calendar for half year, it is supposed to raise some 30 billion Ghana cedis. However, with just about 18 working days before the end of this month, government has been able to raise just about 25 billion Ghana cedis. Checks by Joy Business indicates that on the average, government raises about 1.1 billion Ghana cedis every week through the issuance of bonds and treasury bills. So even if they stick to this plan, it will still not be able to raise the remaining 5 billion Ghana cedis. Again, looking at the fact that appetite for government bonds appears to be declining, which has been influenced by the uncertainties surrounding the November elections and some challenges with the economy. Situation that could force government to look at raising more taxes, which some say might be difficult, especially in an election year, or possible cut in government's expenditure, which is also not likely in an election year. But the more likely option now is to quickly go ahead and issue the Eurobond to raise some $1 billion. But the challenge here is at what cost, as you're currently paying about $11 million every year as interest on the recent Eurobond issued. But for some, whichever way you want to look at this, there's a real challenge here which needs to be addressed. So the government could meet these obligations when it comes to the payment of salaries of public sector workers, funding of ongoing projects in the country, and payments of debts that are maturing.
So on that note, we end business here midday. My name is John Kojo Amwak. You can catch me live between 1 and 1:30 on the marketplace for more business stories. Coming up next is your sports. Good afternoon. It's now time for sports on Joy News today with me, Asai Bidiako. Let's first talk about David Duncan. The former Ashanti Gold coach was in April this year forced by Asante Kotoko to step aside after a string of poor results, and after last weekend's Swag Awards, David Duncan had a banter with sports journalists over his status as coach of the two-time African champions.
I am tied contractually to Asante.
So we know.
Ask me what next. I wouldn't know because I don't know exactly what you mean by that because I am a coach of.
We know for now you are unattached.
No, you can't say that. I have a contract.
You have
a contract has not been terminated.
So you're still the head coach of Kotoko?
Do you know otherwise? You know something otherwise that I don't know. You know something that I don't know.
Because he's saying that you still have a contract with Kotoko.
So that presupposes that I'm the coach of Kotoko. Do you know anything contrary to what I'm telling you?
No, so you have to tell me.
No, I'm asking you. Do you know anything contrary to do you know anything contrary to what I'm telling you? Hey, maybe.
No.
Yeah, so then you should take it aside.
So any wishes for them?
For who?
For Kotoko.
Any wishes for me?
For Kotoko.
For me?
For Kotoko.
Oh, what are you talking about? I am telling you something and you're telling me something contrary to what I'm telling you. What are they telling me? They are telling me to take a break. Yes. So I'm on break. That's what it is.
But when it's back and forth, I guess.
What is back and forth? What is telling you to have a break? No, everybody goes on a break. And I'm on a break. So haven't you gone on a break on your job before? Yeah, I'm on a break.
There are more sports news and updates in our subsequent bulletins, but if you can't quite wait, visit our website, myjoyonline.com/sports. You can also follow us on Twitter at JoySportsGH, and on Facebook, you can find us at Joy Sports. The GN Today news continues. My name is Asai Bidiako. Have a fantastic working day.
Briefing the House today. I mean, what has he been saying?
Well, he was here to respond to a question about how many prepaid meters have been imported into the country, and his response was that government, through the Electricity Company of Ghana and NEDCO, that Northern Electricity Company combined, have imported into the country 999,000 prepaid meters, and the amount involved is almost 100 million United States dollars. Now, the suggestion is that going forward, to avoid complaints with consumption of electricity through the use of postpaid meters, government plan is to roll out prepaid meters across the country so that people can be mindful of how much they are consuming on a monthly basis and how much they'll be paying. He was there specifically to respond to how many prepaid meters we have in the country as of now.
Elton Brobe, many thanks for that update. And that was parliamentary correspondent Elton Brobe bringing us updates from Parliament. You are watching news today here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. We are taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you updates in the world of business and sports. Stay on.